Hello everyone. In this video we're going to go through question 3 from the 2022 practice exam. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to focus on mostly using the calculator. So you'll notice most of these questions are worth 1 mark, except for question C. So you do need to show a little bit more working if it's worth more than 1 mark. Alright, a person standing on a pier. Alright, so let's just draw this person standing on the pier. So they're here. And here's a person. All right, uses a slingshot to project into the sky and out across the bay. The diagram at right shows the trajectory of the object. So the object is going splash into the bay. Its height, h meters above the ground. So you can see h here on our y-axis. After t seconds, on our x-axis is given by this rule. So I might highlight that. All right, we are used to seeing, I guess, the t squared first, but it's the same, it's a quadratic, it's just, your terms are in a different order to what you're probably more familiar with. All right, so question A, at what height above the ground is the platform from which the object was projected? So this is this height here. So that is when t is equal to 0. So all you need to do is substitute 0 into your calculator. I'm just going to do the working out as well. Actually, it's not that hard. I don't even need to do this on my calculator, I just realized. Because when it's in expanded form, and only when your quadratic is in expanded form, your y-intercept is 3, so it's going to be 3. So the, 3 meters? It wouldn't be 3 centimeters, okay. Calculate the time when the object will again be the same height as the platform. So you want to know when h is equal to 3. So our equation, 3 plus 4t minus 0.5t squared is equal to 3. Now this is only worth 1 mark, so we'll just do it on the calculator. It's not, wouldn't be a hard one to solve by hand, but I'm not going to do it by hand. I'm just going to use it solve it by using the calculator. And we just do solve. So 3 plus 4. Now if you use x because it's easier to press x on your calculator than to go to t, just make sure that your final answer, you don't leave it in terms of x, because unfortunately you would be marked wrong. So you do need to put it t. So you'll notice we've got 2 solutions, x equals 0, which is what we had when the person was standing on the platform, and the other time is x equals 8. So we do need to write t equals 8, which is 8 seconds. Leaving it as t equals 8 is also fine. You don't have to write 8 seconds. Calculate the greatest height the object reaches and at what time this occurs. So it's worth 2 marks. So we want 2 things, the greatest height and the time. Now, you could have defined this function if you wanted to, and I know a lot of you are doing define, but you can also just copy things like I am now. So there's the expression. Go to copy and go back here, and we want to know when it's a maximum. So go to calculation, max. Right, and then I can just paste it in. Right, or if you defined it as f of x, you can just put f of x in. Now, with the negative infinity to infinity, we don't need to change that. We only really needed to do that when we did cubic, so you can just leave it as negative infinity to infinity. So your maximum value is 11 when x is equal to 4. So the maximum height equals 11 when t equals 4. So 11 meters, 4 seconds. Now, if you had to do this by hand, obviously you don't have the skills yet to do it. So when you get into VCE methods, you would use calculus to find that turning point. But with a parabola, it is actually, your turning point is halfway between your x-intercepts. So if we know one x-intercept is here, all right, and you've got to find the other one, which is over here. We haven't found them yet. And then your turning point is halfway. So you're just finding the turning point, or you could complete the square and get the turning point that way, but we can just use our calculator. All right, and then question D, at what time, correct to 2 decimal places, does the object reach the ground? So that's when h is equal to 0. All right, so when it's hit the ground. So again, I've already copied my formula, so I'm just going to paste it again, and we let that equal 0, and we should get 2 solutions because we've got 2 x. Basically, we're finding the x-intercepts. So we should get a -1, which you can see there is negative 0.69, and the other one is 8.69. Now, I just encourage you to always write more decimal places than you need. So x equals 8.6904. I already forgot what it was. 8.6904. All right, so when t... All right, so the reason for that is when you get into VCE, you can get something that's called a rounding error. So when we're rounding this, we do a cut, and then this number decides whether we round up or down. Now, if you accidentally left your answer as 8.7, that is technically wrong because it's not 2 decimal places. So if I just had that answer, not this previous part with the 4 decimal places, it wouldn't be considered a rounding error, it would just be wrong. So just get into the habit of whenever you have to do rounding, just show more decimal places and then do your rounding. So this is 8.69, not a hard one to round. Well, no rounding should be hard, but sometimes people still have trouble. So 8.69 seconds. All right, bye-bye.